Hi, Ghost Addicts. Welcome to the show. Today we have a very, very scary ghost story. Oh my gosh. If you take a second to just subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast. If you'd like to give us 5 stars with a nice review, we so greatly appreciate it. If you're able to buy us coffee, buy me coffee Sneakies, or PayPal anonymous content, or simply subscribe to our YouTube channel and subscribe to our podcast and just get a download because that's the only way we can get monetized and to have at least 10,000 to 100,000 downloads a month to get monetized and 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. So thank you so much. Let's get into this very scary, ghostly story of the Dakota. The Dakota Co-op apartment building located in Manhattan, New York, and Central Park West. You're like, what? A nice building in Central Park West is a haunted story? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Very strange and ghostly. And it has some very, very famous stories surrounded it, famous ghosts, and some very sad, tragic events around this. So, this building was made in the late 19th century, and it is a very haunted apartment building. And this is also the site where John Lennon was killed. And this building was in the role of the horror classic Rosemary's Baby. And so there has been apparitions of John Lennon near the stairs, and so there's amazing stories around this Dakota building. So I want to give you lots of information. So it is known to be exclusive. It is in Manhattan. Oh, the West, Central Park West. And it's located at 1 West 72nd Street. And it also has not ever been like vacant. So very interesting. So it's a very gothic style building, like gothic. So it's like, ooh, gothic. Yeah, hello, creepy. Or, if you like gothic, this is your thing. The only thing that's missing is, do they have those gargoyles on the top, which they probably do. I mean, and yes, it's a very picky co-op board, which they said they made a sport of rejecting rich and famous applicants. Oh, isn't it nice to be rich? Let's reject these rich and famous applicants. Ha ha ha. Well, it's good to be rich, right? Okay, so the sad news is on December 8th, 1980, John Lennon was killed by a man named Mark David Chapman outside of the Dakota apartment building. And so John Lennon died at Roosevelt Hospital at the age of 40. And so very sad day. And they say Yoko Ono still lives at the Dakota. And apparently she sees John Lennon, her ghost around there. And John Lennon's around there, so I guess all you selfie ghost buffs, are probably taking photos and capturing John Lennon. And they said that he sits at his white piano, and they said that he told her, "Don't be afraid. I'm still with you." I mean, is that the most beautiful thing ever? He's a ghost. He sits at his white piano and tells his lovely wife, "Don't be afraid. I'm still with you." I mean, what a romantic, beautiful story. I mean, where is my soulmate? I mean, he's probably on the other side and can't talk to me or can't talk. Um, they said that John Lennon told Ono that he saw a crying ghost lady in the building. So John Lennon saw ghosts there. He's seen ghosts roaming through the hall. So apparently this gothic building had ghosts. And an interesting fact, this building has no fire escapes. So the architect they said the architect Henry J. Hardenberg didn't want to, he avoided the fire escapes by slathering mud from Central Park between the layers of brick flooring to fireproof and soundproof the buildings. So, yeah, but it's always good to have fire escape or that net thing that you can climb out on throughout the window. It takes too long to rip sheets from the bed and tie them and go out the window. That smoke is really dangerous. So, they said that tenants that live in this building are forbidden to throw away any original doors and fireplace mantles. So they're not allowed to throw away the original doors or fireplace mantles. It's probably architecturally historical. So if they want to get rid of these items, there's a special storage area for spooky items. The place looks so creepy. I just surprised there's just no gargoyles on that. There's probably a gargoyle on that. Let me know if you've seen the building or walked by. So, the original owner, listen to how eccentric these people are. It's good to be rich. They had sterling silver floors. Okay, everyone wants, the rich people eat off of sterling silver trays and tray passing and serving sterling silver forks and spoons and plates. So some people eat out of gold plates and gold forks. And well, to have sterling silver floors, have you heard of that? I've heard of people having gold toilets. So, every one of you loves fashion and sewing. Well, Edward Clark, a Singer Sewing Machine Company, the founder, Edward Clark, he commissioned a Dakota as a $1 million apartment building for 60 families, including his own family. But he died 2 years before the building was complete. So this is the Singer sewing machine magnate. Edward Clark apparently built this for his family. And let's put in some sterling silver floors because we're so mega rich. Isn't it fun? We have private planes, private yachts, private islands, and let's just have sterling silver floors and gold toilets. Yeah, why not? Can't take it with you. Um, and where did this name come from? Well, who knows? And it's obviously has rich and famous people, and like I said, the Steinway family was one of Dakota's first residents. The Steinway family, and they're saying that Peter Truskowski lived there. You know, and actress Lauren Bacall owned a 9-room apartment. 9-room apartment for 53 years, and she finally sold it for $23 million. 9-room apartment in New York. Wow. And so Lauren Bacall lived there for 53 years. Other residents that have been there is U2's Bono, Jack Palance, Lillian Gish, Boris Karloff, Rosemary Clooney, Connie Chung, Mari Povich, Harlan Coben, U2's Rex Reed. So, interesting. And the building has had 0 vacancies for 45 years after it opened. And so I guess each apartment had 4 bathrooms, servant quarters, and parlors. And when it snows, it looks extra creepy. And they have interior courtyards in this building. So, and 24-hour white glove doormen. And let's see. And the application process is you have to pay a fee of over $1,000, background check, and to see if are you the who's who. And and they're saying some apartments are kind of odd, but they're rumored that there's $30,000 buried under the floor of John Lennon and Ono's apartment. So there's probably people trying to break in and get that $30,000, which might have been 50,000 or 100,000. But whenever there's a rumor about like hidden treasure and hidden money, someone's trying to get in there and get that money. So no one's going to destroy the floor to solve the mystery. Is that the sterling silver floor? That floor is already pro out. Um, and they're saying it's a very big power plant that, they have a very, very strong boiler system. And Leonard Bernstein's apartment was had the biggest sale. But yeah, so this building has the crying ghost and just so many crazy things about the Dakota, New York City. So let's get into the ghost stories a little bit more about the fun stuff that you guys are waiting for. The ghost of the Dakota buildings. So everyone knows John Lemon lived there, and he was very interested in, the paranormal, and he said he saw the crying lady ghost. And so Edward Clark, like I told you, he was the head of the Singer Sewing Machine Company. And the Dakota back then there was no other buildings around it. And so it was French Renaissance, English Victorian, Gothic, and had high gables, terracotta features. It did have gargoyles. I knew it had gargoyles, and I think they had like ice skating in front of it too, and very, very exotic. And it was 65 co-op apartments, and they said no two are alike. And so it has a history of being haunted. The construction workers reported seeing the apparition of a young man's body with a young boy's face. So when they were constructing the Dakota, it was already eerie apparition. So a young man's body with a young boy's face, and that the little girl with turn of the century clothing um, appears to the painters working in the building, probably in the cleaners, and she is the most frequently witnessed apparition, the little girl. And she seems friendly and smiling at people. So maybe she had a good life living in there in that giant apartment, the 9-bedroom apartment or whatever. So the little girl, she has long blonde hair, and she dresses of the earlier time, and she's bouncing a ball. And they just the ghost residents, yeah, so she walks around, the little girl, and they're saying Judy Holliday's Dakota apartment after death. A family named the Smiths bought the apartment, and they hired men to repaint the walls and revarnish the woodwork. And the workers that were painting the walls and doing the woodwork felt they were being watched, and they saw a ghost boy about the age of 10 dressed in a Buster Brown suit, which is the style of that early period of the 1900s. And then, and very interesting, a musty odor, like old musty, accompanied that little boy in that old time outfit. And they saw, and all of these workers saw that it was a body of the male in his 20s and a face of a young child. So, I wonder, there's two apparitions in one. And when the painters were doing some touch up work in a large closet, remember, you got to watch out for those mirrors and those large closets. The door slammed and the lights went out. Oh no, oh no. He was like hobbling off the ladder, propped the door open, and turned the light back on. And he felt something grab his arm and put it against the light bulb. So something's moving your arm, turning lights off and on, slamming the doors. Oh, no painter wants to go back there. You got to pay him more. Then the third floor Dakota apartment, they're saying that Susan and Frederick Weinstein hear footsteps and noises in their home, especially in the dining room where lots of paranormal phenomena happens, like rugs and chairs just slide and move around on their own. Hello, the rug is moving around the room, and the chairs are just going back and forth. And then when they were coming home one day, they saw through the living room window the large crystal chandelier. The lights were glowing from them, and no one was home. And so then when he goes inside to the living room, there's no chandelier, but the bolts for one remain. So they didn't have a chandelier, but like the chandelier appeared through the window. So very creepy and interesting. Oh, somebody bought me. He was all excited. Oh, a large crystal chandelier. Oh, how lovely. My wife bought it for me. And he goes inside. Oh, no chandelier, just like the wires that were left for one. So isn't that interesting that you can see things from a different time period? And then the basement, the old basement. Why are there basements? Spooky, creepy basements. You know, if you're going to go in the basement, it's going to be cold, it's going to be dark, and there's going to be definitely things that go thump in the night. Bang, 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 lights going off and on, doors closing, and you do not want to be trapped down that basement in the dark with a creepy, creepy ghost. So a porter said he saw the tenant Wilbur Ross. He asked for the tenant Wilbur Ross to come to the cellar because um, a very heavy snow shovel flew off the wall and almost hit him in the head. Okay, and he's showing the tenant that he went to go throw the garbage out and the big bags began to move on their own. Like, can you imagine you're going to throw the garbage out and then the bags are moving on their own? Sure, it's nice if the garbage bags go into the garbage bin all on their own, but when they're just doing their own thing and like garbage is coming out, you got to pick it up and it's spooky. No thanks. Then the tenant Wilbur Ross it's like, "Oh, no heavy snow shovel just flew off the wall to hit you on the head." Really? The porter's like, "Hey, I almost got killed. I don't think I'm gonna work here anymore. The garbage is moving, shovels are moving." Then a metal bar flew across the room and landed by his feet. And he tried to pick it up, but it was too heavy. And so weird things like snow shovels flying across the room, metal bars flying, garbage up in the air and almost hitting you, that's like poltergeisty. Ooh, 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 no thank you. Furniture moving on, creepy creep, lights going off and on, doors slamming doesn't sound friendly. So an electrician was working in the basement and saw a ghost of they're saying a man with a beard, a long nose, no mustache, and a wide frame glasses and wearing a wig. How they know that he was wearing a wig? If it's a ghost, how did they know that the ghost was wearing a wig? You're like, what? How do you know this ghost was wearing a wig? A ghost was walking around with a wig and wearing a frock coat and a high hat, like a top hat. And other people saw the same ghost and it matched that of Edward Clark, where as you know, Edward Clark isn't he our singer guy? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Edward Clark is the singer Clark that made he commissioned this big giant gothic monstrosity of ghost mess, and then John Lennon. Um, there's a magician that lives near the Dakota building. Says he saw John Lennon's ghost in the Dakota entrance doorway, where apparently John Lennon's ghost has been seen several times in the doorway of the Dakota co-op where John Lennon was shot. And they were saying that he was surrounded by this light, and the guy describes it as like an eerie light. And another writer, this lady called Amanda Morris, claimed that she has also seen the ghost, confirms that she's seen it. And she said she wanted to go up and talk to him, but something about the way he looks said, I don't think I'm going to ask him anything. He might be giving me the old, oh no, scary ghost stare, where you just don't want to go talk to that ghost because it looks like bad news. So, everyone's like, hey, John, what's up? But it had the vibe like, no, you're not going to go up to John Lennon and give him a, hey, what's up, bro? It was more like, don't even think about it. I'll ghost you. I'll zap you. I'll move your furniture, throw the snow shovel at you. No. And then they had a psychic, Sean Robbins, come to there and said she saw John's ghost in the building. And, Yoko Ono said she sees John Lennon at his white piano. And like I told you, he said, don't be afraid. I'm still with you. Very, very Romeo and Juliet. Very tragic love story that like love is alive even though The love is still there even though he's gone. That's just so beautiful. It's hauntingly beautiful. How many of you think that's hauntingly beautiful? And then according to several spiritualists, John's spirit has been lingering on earth, before group of spirit guides helped him to adjust to their world. I mean, this stuff can be made up. Who knows? You never know. Um, and so these are some very interesting things. And a lot of people have gone to Dakota, and they said it's very stunningly, hauntingly, and they said it felt like it had a different feeling, like you can kind of, when you get near it, it's like you can kind of feel like something, portal energy, ghostly energy. And they're saying they could feel, people that have been there said they could feel John Lennon's presence, and they just had strong feelings coming from this Dakota building. And so they just said that just there's a lot of energy and feelings in there, but all these ghostly sightings. So if you're gonna go there, you might have like a shovel fall on your head, some trash fall on your head, lights go off and on. But so that is our very spooky story of the Dakota, where you just might see the face of a small boy, a friendly little girl waving through the window, a lady crying ghost, or you might just see John Lennon who's giving you the old ghost eye. Don't you dare ask me a question or high five me, bro. Or maybe he might say, hey, come high five me, bro. Who knows? Let me know if John Lennon gave you good vibes or ghostly vibes. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show. Take a second to give it 5 stars, subscribe and download it. And if you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Storytime Fun. And thank you for if you can give any contribution to the channel at Buy Me Coffee Sneakies or PayPal Anonymous Content. And please send in your ghost stories at jobsandmh@live.com. Have a great week, everyone.